What's up, everyone? This is Kyle over at BOHO HOBO, and today I wanted to talk about this theory I had as far as personal development goes and how we can use philosophy from the Eastern side and the Western side in combination to allow us to pursue the higher power, which is maybe increased consciousness, this God force, whether it's astrology, if you're into that. This framework is going to be able to apply with all religions and spiritual schools of thought. So basically, the idea is, first we have to surrender to the higher power. It kind of aligns with the AA model as well, but the way we do that is first by understanding that Eastern philosophy has truth to it. This idea of oneness with the universal consciousness. And by first accepting Eastern philosophy, well, actually, let me break it down before I delve into the details. So basically, this whole concept is framed out to be that first, you're going to accept the philosophy of Eastern practice, of Eastern spiritual belief. And that's going to allow you to come to terms with this reality and see the interconnectedness of everything. And that'll allow you to get grounded and come from a place of peace, so then you can pursue self-development with the Western school of thought. Western school of thought's more about, it's centered around the I instead of the we in the Eastern philosophy, the I being you, and it's all about increasing your own consciousness through rational thought and to pursue this world in practical ways so that you can navigate it and make better decisions. So both schools of thought, whether it's Stoicism for Western philosophy to be able to have emotional intelligence, or whether it's Eastern philosophy with more Buddhist teaching, they both have benefits, pros and cons to them. And so this concept is more so approaching it from a holistic perspective to incorporate both philosophies and how we can utilize them, how we can approach the two to be able to get the benefits of both of them. And so first, I think you should, again, start with the Eastern philosophy because that helps you get grounded to a place of peace. Because if you have resentments and all these depressed moods and maybe these anxieties about the future, finding universal consciousness in the most practical way is like realizing that you are a small part of this vast universe, that we're all, but at the same time, it's like we're all directed, we're all in this together. So there's this camaraderie to it, this feeling of being on a team, that we're all in this together with the Eastern spiritual practice. And when you can find that, when you can come to the realization and surrender to your ego and just be like, wow, I'm at oneness with all of this, whether it's like the rocks, the birds, the space, the outer space, different planets of other people, that all of the things, all the issues that I'm having are also natural forces at play with issues that all the other people out there in the world are having, and that we're all in this together. And again, having that camaraderie, that team force, that feeling of being grounded at peace with the universe allows us to come from a place of strength, so then we can pursue that personal development. But it's also allowing us to keep our ego in check when we do pursue personal development. And so then we're shifting more towards the Western philosophy where we're like, yes, I am one with the universe. I am a team, and I'm taking on the personal responsibility to support my team, which is the universe itself, that we're all directed in this world to go towards increased consciousness, universal consciousness. And now you're approaching personal development, not from a selfish place, but from a place where you're like, I want to develop myself. I want to increase my consciousness so then I can provide for all of humanity or all of the universe, to try to, if I increase my consciousness, then I'm increasing the consciousness as a whole. And then you pursue down this avenue of like emotional intelligence, or like trying to develop your skills and talents, and like having the mental capacity to maybe intellectualize different certain things and to feel at peace with yourself while still trying to better yourself as a human being. And it's important to incorporate both philosophies, I think, because you can gain the benefits to not only, if Eastern practice is telling you to like be at peace, at oneness, it creates this sense of not taking responsibility and stagnation. And at the same time, with Western philosophy, if you delve into it too early, you might get this overwhelming sense of like, oh shit, like I am responsible and I gotta make something of my life. And again, it's overwhelming. So if you come from a place of at peace, of realizing that you are a small part in all of this, but you're also making an impact, then even though you are taking on a responsibility, you're like, we're all in this together. And you realize that there's support along with you, with your comrades in humanity. And then you delve down that road of personal development, of philosophy. And I think as a whole of humanity, if everyone in humanity is directing themselves towards trying to increase their own individual sense of consciousness, then as a whole, we all win out. We all win out. And it allows us to not feel dependent. It gives us accountability, and it makes us feel empowered. Because that's another thing with Eastern philosophy. It makes us a little bit dependent on the whole if we're not taking any responsibility at all. And so it's just this balance, and you can kind of go back and forth with that balance of like, oh shit, like I'm tripping up, like I'm getting overwhelmed and anxietal, and maybe I should back off a little bit. And you go back to the peace of Eastern philosophy practice. And then when you're like feeling like you're slacking off and like I gotta make something of my life, then you pursue the Western philosophies. And it's like, it's so beautiful how they work together. And it's great to have this realization that we can incorporate both, and one is not better than the other. It's a balance. Just like the whole left and rightist ideals of American society. It's like we're always in back and forth mode of like trying to prove each other of like which side is better. But like at the end of the day, we're both right in our own certain ways. And like it's the whole of all of the both sides that allows us to keep pushing forward. And I think that's the progression, man. Like, what are we all striving towards? What is the North Star? And I think we should be focusing on that, because that's what's going to bring together both ideologies and all of our differences towards a reason why we should keep pursuing forward. And I think the pursuit forward is all of existence. What are we directing towards? It's to evolve consciousness. That is the whole purpose of humanity, even of down to the rocks, the soil, the air that we breathe, the birds that are chirping in the morning, the rats that are scurrying around the cities. Like, yeah, we might have a higher consciousness than other life forms, but at the end of the day, maybe because we have a higher consciousness, we should take responsibility for that. Again, applying the Western philosophy, so then we can pursue this evolved form of consciousness as a whole, Eastern philosophy. And again, it works beautifully, and I hope it was insightful that I'm like talking about these concepts. And it's a lot of it has to do with like just trying to navigate life. And I think there is positives, there is like a sense of purpose to why we're here, and spirituality and open-mindedness helps open us up to that ideal. And I think it's good to have a guide to see where we're going, because if not, then we're lost, man. And that's a dark path. Like, you don't know what could happen after that. And it's nice to have a roadmap, you know. So I hope everyone could gain some sort of benefit from this concept, and I hope everyone has a good day. Peace.